I'm Jatin with the firm ground from Verito. Let me start with the line I see catch a lot of firm owners off guard. You can do every single thing we've covered in the first 4 episodes. MFA on every account, AI settings buttoned up, agentic guardrails in place, the whole list, and still fail an audit because none of it counts until it's written down. 4 episodes in, we've gone wide. AI tools, privacy settings, agentic workflows, multi-factor. If you've been doing the homework, you're already a step ahead of most of the country. But every single one of those changes has to live in one document. A document the IRS, the FTC, and your cyber insurance carrier can open and read. The document has a name. It's called a WISP, a Written Information Security Plan. And today, we've walked through the whole thing, what it actually is, what the IRS expects to see in it, where most firms come up short, and how to either build one yourself or get one done fast. Before we get into what goes in a WISP, here's the thing most people don't realize. You already told the IRS you have one. Last fall, when you renewed your PTIN for the 2026 filing season, you signed Form W-12. Question 11 on that form asked if you maintain a data security plan that complies with IRS requirements. You checked yes, you signed your name. That signature is under penalty of perjury. So here's the question worth sitting with. Do you actually have one? Not the PDF you downloaded 3 years ago and saved to a folder you can't find anymore. Not the one you vaguely remember someone sending you. An actual current written plan. One that names your software, your staff, the way you handle client data this filing season. If you're sitting there thinking, well, I have something, this episode is for you. No judgment. Most firms are in the exact same spot because there's a difference between having a document and having a WISP. And the IRS, FTC, your insurance company, they all know exactly what that difference looks like. Let me walk you through it. Stripped down, a WISP is a written document that describes how your firm protects taxpayer data. That's the whole thing. It isn't software you buy. It isn't a certificate you frame and hang in the lobby. It's a plan, on paper, saying what you actually do. Why does the IRS care so much? It's not complicated. The day something goes sideways, a breach, a stolen laptop, a phishing click that opens up your portal, the first question anybody asks isn't what you did after, it's what you had in place before. The requirement comes from IRS publication 4557, Safeguarding Taxpayer Data. And the IRS made it easier on us than they had to. They put up publication 5708, a sample WISP template built specifically for tax and accounting practices. It's free, 28 pages. If you're building from scratch, that's the starting block. Now here's the part I want to land before we go further. Most of the firms have a document. Almost none have a plan. A WISP isn't something you write once, check the box and forget. The IRS and the FTC both require annual review. The FTC Safeguards rule goes a step further. It requires you to reassess the plan anytime something material changes. New software, new staff, new office, a security incident. Treat it like a tax return, file it and move on, and you will fail. That's exactly the mistake the FTC writes penalties for. You need to treat it like an employee handbook, a document that reflects how your firm actually operates this year, not how it operated 2 years ago when somebody last touched it. So what actually goes in this thing? Publication 4557 and the FTC Safeguards rule together lay out 7 elements. Cover all 7, you're real. Miss even one, you've got a gap a regulator can find in about 90 seconds. Element 1, designate a security coordinator. Pick one person. Write their name down. Doesn't matter if that's the partner who runs payroll, signs the checks, and locks up at night, or the IT director at a larger shop. A real human being has to own the security program. Often that's the owner. If you're solo, it's you. Put your name on it. That counts. Here's why this matters past the paperwork. When something goes wrong, and eventually something will, one person has to know the plan, run the response, and answer the phone when the regulator calls. If nobody's named, everybody quietly assumes somebody else has it handled, where nobody does. Element 2, conduct a risk assessment. Take a slow walk through your office one Saturday morning. Coffee in hand, look around. The filing cabinet, the router behind the receptionist desk, the unattended laptop on the partner's chair, the sticky note with the Wi-Fi password on the monitor. That's a risk assessment. List every reasonably foreseeable risk. Employee error, system failures, phishing, a stolen laptop from a car at the airport, a former staffer whose login still works because nobody got around to revoking it. Don't overthink the format. Risk assessment sounds like a thing you hire a consultant for. In practice, it's a notebook. an honest look, and a few hours of time. The bigger the firm, the longer the list, the discipline is going to be the same. If you've watched episode 3 on agentic AI, this is where it connects. AI tools that take actions on your behalf, those are a risk factor. They'll live in the assessment too, not because AI is dangerous, but because every system that touches client data has to be on that list. Element 3, implement safeguards. This is the what are you actually doing about it part. And the IRS is specific here. Publication 4557 names 6 foundational controls every tax preparer needs. The Security 6 is what it's called. Antivirus on every device, firewall properly configured, multi-factor authentication. If you've watched last week's episode, you're already there. Encryption for data at rest and in transit. Secure drive wiping before you dispose of any hardware. And backup and recovery, which is exactly what we get into next week. Your WISP has to document which of these you actually have, how they're configured, and who keeps them running. Not that we have an antivirus. Which antivirus? On which laptops? Set to auto-update or not? Last full scan was when. That level of detail is what separates a real WISP from a checkbox. Element 4, test your safeguards. Having a control isn't same as having a working control. This is the one that trips up most of the firms. Testing takes a Saturday afternoon and nobody's billing hours for it. Here's what the IRS and FTC actually want to see. You restore a file from backup at least once a quarter. Don't trust the green light on the dashboard. Pull a real file off of the backup, open it on your real machine, confirm that it's intact. Run a phishing simulation at least once a year. Verify encryption is active on every laptop, not just enabled in the settings somebody glanced at in March. Confirm MFA is enforced, meaning nobody's in the office has quietly found a workaround during the busy season. Then write it down. Date, what you tested, what you found, what you fixed. Boring work, I know. But that paper trail is the single most valuable thing in the binder the day something goes sideways. It says you weren't hoping things worked, you were checking. Element 5, oversee your service providers. Everybody outside your firm who touches client data lands here. Your IT company, your cloud hosting provider, your email provider, your document management vendor, the portal you make clients use to upload their W-2s. Oversight is 2 things. Due diligence before you sign up, what certification, where's the data stored, what happens if they get breached, and ongoing oversight, not a one-time vetting and we forget about them. If you're a Verito firm, this part is straightforward for us to fill in. We can hand you the answers. Encryption standards, data center certification, incident response procedures, SOC 2 documentation. Even if you're not with us, those are the questions you need to be asking every vendor that handles your client's information. If they can't answer, that's a different kind of problem. Element 6, create an incident response plan. This is your what do we do when something goes wrong playbook. And I want to be specific. This isn't what to do if something might go wrong. It's what to do when it actually does. Because statistically, it will. The only question is whether you have a plan ready at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, or you're standing at the kitchen counter in your bathrobe trying to remember your IT guy's cell number. 5 things have to live in this plan. Detection. How will you know it happened? Containment. How do you stop it from spreading? Assessment. What data was it? How bad is it? And then notification. Who do you have to tell? And how fast? The FTC requires notification within 30 days for breach affecting 500 or more consumers. And recovery, how do you get back to actually filing returns? Write it down, assign roles, put real phone numbers in the document. Because when a breach hits, nobody calmly sits down and drafts a plan from scratch. Element 7, train your people. Last one, and honestly might be the most important. Your WISP has to include mandatory security awareness training for everyone with access to taxpayer data, not just tax preparers, the admin staff, the bookkeeper, the seasonal hire you brought on in January. Anyone whose keyboard touches a client file, and it can be, I told them to be careful. It has to be documented. What topics, who attended, what date, annual refresher is required. Topics should cover phishing, password hygiene, physical security, and how to report a suspected incident. So that's the list. Coordinator, risk assessment, safeguards, testing, vendor oversight, incident response, training. 7 elements, cover all of them, you're real. Miss one, you've got a gap that's easy to find and hard to defend. I've read a lot of WISPs, and 3 mistakes show up over and over. See if any of these feel familiar to you. Mistake 1, the download and done WISP. Someone tells you that you need a WISP, you Google it, you find a template, you may even find publication 5708, which is actually pretty solid for what it is. You download it, fill in your firm name, save it to a folder, and you never open it again. Sounds familiar? I get why it happens. You're running a firm, you've got clients, and WISP work doesn't generate revenue. But here's the catch. That document that you just saved, it doesn't describe your firm. It describes a generic template. It doesn't even name your tax software. It doesn't list your employees. It doesn't reflect the AI tools you started using 6 months ago. And the first thing the FTC will notice if they ever ask to see it is that it reads like a template, because it is one. Fix is pretty simple, but it takes discipline. Setting up calendar reminder once a year. January is the natural window before filing kicks in. You sit down and update your WISP, walk every section, go through everything. Like, did you change your software, add staff, new cloud provider, started using new AI workflows? You need to update the document, initial it, date it, and that annual review is what turns a template into an actual plan. Mistake 2. No evidence of testing. You can have the best WISP ever written, but doesn't matter if you can't show you've actually tested any of it. The FTC safeguards rule require regular testing of your actual safeguards. Not we believe it works. Documented proof that you verified it works. Those two are different things entirely. In practice, it's one afternoon a quarter. You run a checklist. Restore a file from backup. Did it actually open? Send a test phishing email to the team. Did anybody click? Check encryption is still on for every laptop in the office. Confirm the associate who left in March actually had their access revoked. Write down what you did, what you found, what you fixed. Stick it in a folder next to your WISP. That folder is your evidence binder. And the day you face an audit, a breach investigation, or an insurance claim, that binder is what saves you. And I'm not exaggerating. Mistake 3, forgetting the human element. The most technically perfect WISP in the world is useless if your staff doesn't know it exists. And I don't mean they sign a form during onboarding. I mean they actually understand what the plan says. They know what to do when something goes wrong. And they've been trained inside the last 12 months. Training doesn't have to be expensive. A 30-minute team meeting once a year, walk through the plan, review the incident response steps, remind everyone what a real phishing email looks like, especially the ones that show up looking like an IRS notice during March. Document who showed up and what you covered. That's it. That's compliant training. Skip it though, and here's the part that should keep you up at night. You've broken your own plan. Your WISP says you'll train your people. If you don't, the WISP becomes evidence against you, not for you. You documented exactly what you were supposed to do, then didn't do it. Real question before we keep going. The first 3 episodes weren't filler. They land right here. If anyone in your firm uses ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, or any AI tool, even casually for a research question, your WISP needs an AI chapter. And I don't mean a paragraph that says we use AI responsibly. Nobody reading your WISP cares about your intent. They care about specifics. Specifics like which tools are approved, what data can and cannot be entered into them, and whether the tools are in business to your plans. Remember the tier problem from episode 2 and how you're keeping an eye on usage day to day. If you watched episode 3 on agentic AI, this part gets sharper. The moment AI tools start taking actions inside your tax software, preparing returns, extracting numbers off of source documents, running pieces of your workflow, your WISP has to name who authorized these capabilities and what human review is required and how you're holding the audit trail. Honest truth, this section is going to change more than any other section in your WISP year over year because AI is moving fast and your documentation has to move with it. If your WISP doesn't have an AI chapter yet, that's the first thing to add when you sit down for an annual review. Okay, 2 paths from here. Path 1, do it yourself. Real path, publication 578 is free, 28 pages, built specifically for tax and accounting practices. Download it, customize it to your firm, fill in your specifics, few hours of work, maybe a full day if you're thorough, and you come out the other side with the WISP you understand inside and out because you wrote it. We'll drop the template in the description, and we are also putting a free WISP checklist at verito.com/WISP-checklist that walks you through all 7 elements so nothing slips through. Path 2, if you'd rather have it done for you. That's what VeriShield is, our WISP service. We build you an audit-ready written information security plan customized to your firm, your software, your staff, and your workflows. $999 a year, ready in 5 business days. And because the WISP requires annual review, we re-engage every year to update it. New tools, new staff, new risk, both paths land you in the same place, compliant. The one question is whether you want to spend the time or spend the money. Either way, what matters is that you have a current, complete plan that reflects how your firm actually operates today. Here's what I want to leave you. Pull up your WISP this week. If you have a real one, not a template gathering dust, open it and ask 3 questions. 1. Does it name a security coordinator? Is that person still at the firm? And do they actually know they are the coordinator? 2. Does it reflect how your firm operates today? The software you actually use, the people who actually work there, and the AI tools you quietly started leaning on since the last time you touched the document. 3. Can you prove you've tested anything in it? Not just, we have antivirus. Can you put a date on the last time you actually verified anything in that document was still working? 3 yeses, you're ahead of most of the firms in the country. Anything less, that's what this episode was for. Now you know what has to happen. One last thing before we close. A WISP isn't really about the IRS. It's the proof that you took the work seriously. The day a regulator, a carrier, or a client asks, how do we know? That document is the answer. And the firms that treat it like a living thing, that crack it open every January and update it like they update their fee schedule, those are the firms that won't be sweating the question. Next week, we pick up the next control on the Security 6 list, backups. The 3-2-1 rule. 3 copies, 2 media types, 1 offsite. Sounds simple. Most firms are failing at least one part of it, and there's a specific mistake backing up to the same network your systems run on. That turns a ransomware attack from a bad day into a firm-ending event. We'll get into all of it. I'm Jatin, this is Firm Ground from Verito. Stay happy and stay blessed.